She was radiant, crowned with stars, clothed in the sun. But her scream pierced the heavens. As she labored to give birth, the ground trembled. Suddenly, a monstrous dragon, red as blood, emerged from the void. 7 heads, 10 horns. Its tail swept the stars from the sky. And it waited, not with patience, but with hunger, ready to devour the child the moment he was born. But what happened next was anything but expected. This is not mythology. This is a divine message wrapped in prophetic language, one that most ignore because it terrifies them. The woman, glorious yet in agony, isn't a random symbol. She represents something ancient and sacred, Israel, and perhaps even the true church. And the child? He's not just a baby. He's the embodiment of purpose, of salvation, of destiny. A destiny so powerful that hell itself tries to stop it at birth. The dragon, yes, that serpent of old, Satan himself, knows what's coming. He's not confused. He's not subtle. He's strategic. He waits at the moment of birth because that's when purpose is most fragile. How many dreams, callings, and lives are devoured before they even begin? The enemy attacks beginnings because he fears what they'll become. But this story is different. Before the dragon can strike, the child is caught up to the throne. Heaven intervenes. And just like that, a war ignites. Not on earth yet. It starts in heaven, where angels clash in a battle so intense it shakes eternity. But here's the real shocker. Even though Satan loses, he doesn't disappear. He's thrown down not to us. And what follows isn't just a story. It's the story of deception, resistance, victory, and the final restoration of everything we lost. There are moments in life when everything seems to fall apart. An unexpected diagnosis, a deafening silence from God, or a chaos no one can see on the outside, but that eats away at you from within. It's in those moments that many forget there's a war going on, and it's not against flesh and blood. When Michael appears on the heavenly stage, it is not just the beginning of a battle between angels and demons. It is heaven's way of declaring, I am not silent in the face of evil. I am fighting for you, even when you don't realize it. The description of this war in heaven is so vivid, it feels like something out of a movie, and for good reason. Think of the final battle in The Lord of the Rings, or Luke Skywalker standing against the Empire. These are human echoes of a far greater truth. There is an invisible battle between light and darkness, with Michael leading the armies of the righteous. But the most shocking detail isn't the victory. It's what comes next. The dragon isn't destroyed. He's thrown down. And that changes everything, because now he's among us. And this is where many stumble without even realizing it. Evil didn't disappear. It relocated. The dragon's fury is now unleashed against everything sacred here on earth. And if you think this sounds like fantasy, just look around. Manipulation, lies, confusion, spiritual disorder. They're all the footprints of that same dragon, just in disguise. But don't panic. This is not where it ends. In fact, it's where something new begins to rise from the depths. And what it represents might be more subtle and far more dangerous. There are moments in life when everything seems to fall apart. A sudden diagnosis, a broken relationship, the quiet ache of unanswered prayers. What most people don't realize is that behind these earthly struggles, a cosmic war is raging. Not between humans, but between light and darkness. When Michael, the archangel, steps into the scene, it is not just a fight in heaven. It is a divine declaration. God is not passive. He is actively fighting for you. The scene is cinematic. If you've ever watched The Lord of the Rings or Star Wars, you've tasted the shadow of this reality. Imagine celestial armies clashing, swords blazing with righteousness, the heavens shaking under the roar of battle. But this isn't fantasy. It's the blueprint of a deeper reality. And when Michael triumphs, the dragon isn't destroyed. He's thrown down to earth. That's where things start getting personal. Now the enemy is here, not hiding in plain sight, but woven into systems, ideas, distractions. His fall from heaven wasn't defeat. It was a shift of battlefield. And if you've ever felt sudden confusion, division, spiritual dryness, you're likely seeing his fingerprints. Just like a cornered beast, Satan now lashes out with ferocity, not through fire and brimstone, but through apathy, false security, and even twisted versions of truth. People expect evil to look monstrous, but it often wears a smile. It shows up in the form of distorted beliefs, power-hungry systems, and ideas that promise freedom but lead to bondage. The dragon no longer needs to roar. Deception is enough. That's why understanding this war isn't optional. If you're unaware, you're vulnerable. But if you see it for what it is, you begin to fight not with fear, but with clarity and truth. And as one enemy falls, another rises. From the shadows of the earth, a new figure begins to surface. More subtle, more cunning, more accepted by the masses. The beast doesn't come to scare, it comes to be followed. And many will, without even realizing what they've welcomed. From the trembling earth rises a terrifying figure, part leopard, part bear, crowned with horns. It's a scene straight out of a nightmare, but it's not about literal monsters. This first beast is a symbol of power systems, governments, and empires that reject God and demand absolute allegiance. It's not just about domination, it's about worship. And sadly, many give it without question. The second beast, however, is more dangerous. It looks like a lamb, soft, familiar, even holy. But its voice is the voice of the dragon. It speaks with spiritual authority, performs wonders, and convinces people to follow the first beast blindly. This isn't just religious deception. It's the counterfeit of truth, packaged in charisma. It's a reminder that not everything that seems holy is from heaven. What makes these beasts so effective is that they don't force people, they fascinate them. They appeal to human desire, comfort, security, control. They offer shortcuts and success without surrender. That's why the number 666 isn't just a spooky label. It represents a system that mimics perfection, but falls short, always. It's man trying to replace God, and it is subtle enough that most people don't to even realize they are part of it. Think about it. How often do people trade eternal truth for temporary influence? For fame? For money? For a platform? These beasts aren't hiding under your bed. They're on your screen, in your wallet, sometimes even behind pulpits. That's why spiritual discernment isn't optional anymore. It's not about paranoia, but about perception. Seeing clearly what others dismiss as harmless. And just when it seems the deception can't get any worse, the scene shifts. A trumpet sounds in the heavens. A white horse pierces the clouds. And the true king, not a beast, not a system, but the Word made flesh, rides forth to bring justice once and for all. Suddenly, the sky rips open, not with thunder, but with majesty. A brilliant white horse charges forth, its rider unlike any other. Eyes burning like fire, robes dipped in blood, and a name no one dares challenge, faithful and true. This is no myth. This is Christ, returning not as a suffering servant, but as a conquering king. And he doesn't come to negotiate, he comes to reign. In a world filled with counterfeits, his arrival is the great unveiling. No more pretending, no more confusion. Just pure, undeniable justice. His sword doesn't rest in his hand. It comes from his mouth. Because his words alone carry the power to destroy evil, expose lies, and restore what was broken. Imagine that one truth from the mouth of God can do what armies and empires never could. And engraved on his thigh, a title that silences every king, every beast, every false prophet, King of Kings and Lord of Lords. This isn't poetic flair, it's legal authority. It's the moment where power shifts permanently. When Christ enters the battlefield, he doesn't just win, he defines what winning means. Evil doesn't stand a chance. It doesn't get a final speech. It gets judgment. That's why this moment changes everything. For centuries, humanity has waited. Through suffering, through war, through the cries of the faithful for this. And now, the wait ends. The rider doesn't hesitate. With one swing, he dismantles the beast's empire. With one word, he crushes centuries of rebellion. It's the climax of the greatest story ever told, and you and I are part of it. But just when we think it's over, that the enemy is gone, the war is done, something unexpected happens. The battlefield fades, and a city begins to descend. A city unlike anything the world has seen. And that, my friend, is where the real future begins. The smoke of battle clears. The old earth, with all its chaos and corruption, begins to fade like a shadow at dawn. And then it appears, descending from heaven, glowing like a bride walking down the aisle. The New Jerusalem. Not just a city, but a promise fulfilled. Imagine streets of gold so pure they look like glass, walls adorned with precious stones, and a radiance so bright the sun becomes unnecessary. This city isn't just beautiful, it's meaningful. Every gate bears the name of an Israelite tribe. Every foundation stone, the name of an apostle. It's heaven and earth, old and new, law and grace, all joined in perfect harmony. There's no temple there, because God himself is the light. His presence fills every corner. No more need for rituals, buildings, or barriers. Just pure, uninterrupted intimacy with the Creator. And flowing through the center, a river of life, crystal clear, coming straight from the throne of God. On either side grows the tree of life, bearing fruit for every season and leaves that heal the nations. It's the kind of peace no government can manufacture, the kind of healing no medicine can offer. A world where no one dies, no one cries, and no one ever walks alone again. For the first time since Eden, humanity walks with God face to face. No more doubt, no more distance, just belonging. And what's even more incredible, we don't just live there. We reign with him. Eternity isn't passive. It's not a never-ending vacation. It's purpose, creativity, worship, and joy. Forever. This is not the end of the story. It's the beginning of the real one. But before this kingdom descends, one final invitation echoes across time. A voice calls out, not with threat, but with longing. Come, all who are thirsty. Drink freely of the water of life. And those who hear must decide. This is not a story about empires, monsters, or celestial wars. It's not even about humanity's strength, strategy, or survival. It's the story of Jesus, the Lamb who became a lion, the bridegroom who never gave up on his bride, the King who didn't just fight for victory, but fought with love, through sacrifice, and for redemption. Every image, every battle, every symbol points to him. And he's not distant. He's coming back. But the question remains, will he find you awake or distracted? In a world full of noise, deception, and artificial light, are you drinking from the fountain of life or from poisoned wells disguised as truth? Maybe you felt like you're too far gone, or too confused, or simply too tired to fight. But here's the good news. You don't have to win this battle alone. You were never meant to. Heaven fights with you and for you. So let me ask you, what side of the war are you on? Not the one on your screen or in the news, but the war inside. Are you resisting the beast by walking in truth? Are you recognizing the dragon's lies in your daily routine? Are you aligned with the king who comes riding on a white horse, or just watching from the sidelines, hoping it'll work out? And hey, if you feel like this message hit deep, then don't just sit on it. Talk about it. Share it. Live it. What would your life look like if you started preparing today for the return of the King instead of waiting for a better time? Let this be your wake-up call. A spark. a holy disruption. Because the invitation still stands, come, all who thirst. So if this resonated with you, make sure to subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications, and keep walking with us through the mystery and majesty of Scripture. There's a lot more to uncover, and your journey is just getting started.